Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be going over an industry that was really destroyed when the COVID-19 pandemic hit and took a really big hit when it comes to their stock price especially, but I think this could be a great time to buy back in on this industry as I think their recovery is going to come a lot faster than a lot of people think. The industry that I'm talking about is the airline industry. Before this pandemic hit, you can see that there was scheduled to be almost 5 billion people to fly on an airline this year. But post-pandemic, this dropped to just 1.8 billion, which is almost a 60% drop in expected traffic. And this was really hard for these businesses to deal with, so they had to turn to things such as furloughing their workers, and they had to deal with an incredibly high burn rate that really put their company in a lot of jeopardy. This is a very costly industry, and so when these airlines are forced to fly their planes with maybe only 50 or 100 people on it, this is going to cost them a ton of money and be detrimental to their revenue and therefore cause a large decrease in their stock price. The reason why I think this could be a great time to buy back in on this industry though is the incredible amount of catalysts coming up to really stimulate this industry back to where it was pre-COVID. The number one and most obvious catalyst is going to be the COVID-19 vaccine, with Moderna's vaccine getting approved just yesterday, as well as Pfizer's vaccine getting approved just about a week ago. These are going to provide millions of people with immunity that will allow people to eventually trust the airline industry again. Pfizer's vaccine has already been administered to hundreds of thousands of people, and Moderna's vaccine is not far behind. I've heard that it's expected to begin shipping just this upcoming Monday. The US has also purchased 300 million doses of a British drug maker's vaccine to go along with their 200 million doses of Moderna and additional 100 million of Pfizer. This totals up to almost 600 million doses that have already been purchased. This might seem excessive given that there's only 324 million or so people in the United States, but the reason why is that this vaccine is actually administered in 2 different doses. So if you have 324 million, you're going to need right around 650 million doses of the vaccine itself. So with these 600 million that they've already purchased, that can vaccinate roughly 300 million Americans, which is the majority of the population, and will likely provide enough for anyone who wants to be vaccinated to be able to find this vaccine and get it administered. Another one of the biggest catalysts that we've been waiting on for a very long time is for the airlines to be included in a stimulus deal, and that's coming up very soon according to our lawmakers. In our most recent rounds of rumors regarding this great stimulus deal, there's roughly a $17 billion fund in order to aid airlines throughout all of the hardship that they've gone through caused by this pandemic. This will allow them to bring back some of the workers that they furloughed and pay some of the workers that have been waiting on paychecks for months. It also includes $4 billion for airports themselves, which is very important because these airlines can't fly without the airports. All of this is great, but the most important part is to regain the trust of the people and make sure that they're willing to hop back on these flights. You can see that today we're looking at a mean of around 15 to 20% of people saying that they would be willing to book a flight, but within 12 months, this number climbs up to right around 80 to 90% of people saying that they plan to book a flight within a 12-month span. Many negative reports have come out to say that it might take years and years for them to fully recover, but when you see data like this with almost 90% of people saying that they would be willing to fly, I don't really understand where the logic of those reports comes from, and I think we'll see a recovery a lot faster than those people think. In terms of choosing what airline stock you may want to buy, the most important thing to look at is how the customers feel about the airline, because one of the greatest things about the airline industry is that the customers have a true choice as to what airline they want to fly. It's all about customer service and allowing the customer to feel both safe and comfortable during their flight. During a recent survey regarding all the airlines, you can see that some of the leaders when it comes to ticketing flexibility would be Alaska, American, Delta, and Southwest. And when you look at it in terms of cleaning, which is very important during this time, obviously, Once again, your leaders are going to be Alaska, American, Delta, and in this case, United. This would make sense as to why in an overall ranking, you see Delta, Alaska, and American all in your top 5. And once again, this is rated off of the consumer, and they have a true choice in this industry, so the consumer's opinion is very important. The best part about all of this is that when you look at these stock prices, you still have plenty of room for upward growth. Alaska currently sits at right around $50, but if you look back to pre-pandemic, it was around $70, so you have around $20 a share there. And when you look at Delta, once again, it's currently at about $40. It has room up to about $60 roughly, so that's almost 50% growth there. And when you look at American, it's currently around $17, with its highs being right around $30. So once again, that's almost 100% growth there. So there's a ton of room in this industry. It's going to recover a lot quicker than a lot of people think, and it's not going to be replaced anytime soon. These companies made for some great investments before the pandemic, and with this quick recovery that I expect, I think they'll make for great investments post-pandemic as well. Feel free to like the video to show your appreciation, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos like this one, and leave any comments that you may have about this video or any other stocks, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.